Welcome in. It is day 238, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be going over an older game. This is a European type game, and this is one that it kind of mixes into a bunch of other games. It seems like it would be one that if you don't know what it is, it's kind of hard for it to be distinguished. But if you do know what it is, it's a pretty interesting game. The game is called Lancaster. Now, the concept of Lancaster is it's essentially a worker placement. You're going to start the game off with a couple knights, a 1 and a level 2 knight. Then you have loads of options as to where to go on this board. So you can choose to go onto the board itself, at which point you can bring your knight, and whatever level it is represents its power, and you can accompany that particular knight with as many squires as you want, each squire being a +1 to their power. They're a little bit stronger in battle because they have a squire to back them up. Now, unlike a lot of other worker placements that you see, this one, multiple people can worker place to the same spot, but you're fighting. So if you go to the same spot, you're essentially going to see at the end of the round who has the most power. That person wins the spot. And then you're going to go back in and you're going to get to choose if you want one of its 2 rewards or if you want to pay some money to get both rewards. Now, the rewards are the spot will represent on the top a person. It's somebody's castle. So if you have won the spot, you've essentially proven yourself, and that person has now been invited to your dinner. They're going to come down, and at the end of the game, based on however many people are in your dinner table, that's a big amount of points you're earning. It also means you've unlocked votes, because these different people have now been swayed to your side. They represent votes for whenever there's a new law coming into effect, and so now those votes are yours. And when you vote yes or no, that's how many votes it represents. So you get that power. Or you get a power below it. The power may be an upgrade to one of your knights. Your 2 now becomes a 3 and you have to switch that out. It could be getting money. It could be getting to go put a new piece to your castle. Your castle, what's that, you say? Down below, you have the ability to go and put any of your knights in your castle. At the start of the game, you're going to have a wide open castle and it's got a whole bunch of abilities. You place a knight in one of those abilities, which you always have the right to put them anywhere in your castle, and you get it paid out. However, if you build the castle, once you cover up a spot, that spot is complete, and for the rest of the game, its ability is paid out every turn to you automatically. So you no longer have to place a knight, it's an automatically paid ability. So the more you build the castle, the better, because if you can build up a bunch early, you could be getting lots of payments, whether that be money and additional squires or victory points every single turn. So that's a big plus. But then there's also going to war. So if you go to war, the idea is that you're going to place one of your people down on this row that you're going to be fighting in. And as a result, you're going to get to go and pick any of these 6 different payouts on the left. Now, when you do this, you're getting a payout. That's great. But then you also have to wait, and at the end of the round, you're going to add up everybody in the row, and you're going to see in the war that you're fighting, do you all together have enough power to beat it? If you do, starting at the most powered player, you will pay out 1, 2, and 3 in victory points. So if 4 people are in there, only 3 you get paid. But there's a victory point allotment that's going to be paid out to you, and in the case of tiebreakers go to whoever is closest to last. So whoever was first player is not going to win tiebreakers. You're going to have to commit a lot more power into this battle if you want to get bigger points. If you don't beat them, though, you actually have to shift yourselves all over into a war in France, basically meaning you've had your person taken away for your next round. Now they're going to be fighting in France, and you'll have to hope that you can beat France next round so that you can get those paid out points, which are less, and then get your person back, but you're not going to be getting a payment with it. It's an interesting little game. I say little, it's big. It's a heavy box. It's a good game. So why don't we jump in? Let's talk our 7 categories and see exactly where this one lands for us. When it comes to the art, the box is nice. I don't mind it. I don't necessarily think this is the greatest box, but it's a good box. I think that this game is sold more so on its setup. The setup of this game can grab an eye because when I see the box, well, I don't think it's bad art. At the same time, it kind of falls into a category of there are a lot of games that just have the name of a location, and this particular one Yes, it has that same setup, but it doesn't play exactly like those. There's so much more complexity and option on this board. So I think that the box kind of grabs your eye for a minute. It doesn't do a bad job. But then when you get there, if you've played enough games, it might be one that you go, oh, okay, this is another one of those, war games with the name of a location, or another one of those Euros with the name of a location. But when you see it set up, if you're at a convention, if you're at a board game store, if you're at a friend's house and the game is set up, then you start to go, oh, there's a lot going on here. And there's a lot of different things. I think that the art does a okay job on the box and a great job on the setup. Thumbs up. Your components. So primarily your components are mixed between cardboard and wood. That's really it. There's a bunch of them both. They're set up to be your major pieces all across the board on your own boards. It's all good quality. I'm not worried about any of it getting broken easily. Nothing's there that's going to wear. It's really good. Thumbs up. Your price. So this is not a game you're going to ever find at a Target or Barnes & Noble. You're still going to find it in some board game stores, but it's probably kind of reduced a bit. It's older now, so I would say maybe 2 out of 5. And you can find it, of course, online. The game's going to probably be between $50 to $60. It is definitely a game that has enough in the box to justify its price. It may not be one that you want to play. It's an older game that's, for a lot of people, might be, I'd rather play something bigger and newer. But I don't think it's lost any of its steam. It still feels like a game that offers a lot. So for that reason, thumbs up. Your difficulty. So this is not for kids. And I would even argue it's not for beginners. Now, I haven't played the game in close to 5 years. And when I did play the game, the one thing I remember was I didn't win, but I competed. And I would say at the time I was experienced. I think an experienced player can easily sit down and start playing this game. And I think an expert player, of course, can. So those two, this is where it's really strong for. The beginners, those post-college beginners, it's just not a level 1 game. If I'm judging a level of when you're ready to start on a game, it's kind of like levels 1 through 5. And it's like, all right, a true beginner is a 1. A lot of people at the age of 18 to 21, they're not really a beginner. They probably played at least some of the old school games, or they've done something that's given them a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. So maybe a level 2. This is a level 3 entry. It's not too complicated, but it's definitely one that you have to have a little idea how worker placement works, a little idea how victory points work, a little idea on how justifying where to go and how things mix and really keep up the math, because there's so much being paid out all over the place. I think that the beginners are a little tough. It's going to be those top-end beginners that have a chance, and there's not many of them. So overall, though, it's still enough where I think I'll give it a passing mark. Thumbs up. Replayability. It's not a short game. So I can't see it being played multiple times in the same day. And at the same time, while it's a good game, I'm not sure how often you're playing this weekly or monthly. I haven't played it again since I played it 5 years ago. Now, this is because we have so many games in the group and we like to try stuff that's new. We don't often really attack a game and specialize and really learn it as a group. That being said, I do think that Lancaster has that opportunity. I think that a lot of people who are in that middle tier of gamers, or who like to specialize, this game can be played weekly. There's enough going on here where I could see getting 10 plays of this in a year and not being bored. Beyond that might be too much for me, but I could see that ability. So I'm going to say the replayability is there. Thumbs up. Keys to victory. Keys to victory are pretty straightforward. Your entire purpose when you're playing is to be picking between where are you going. Is it your board? Is it the center board? Is it the war? Are you trying to focus on getting dinner friends? Are you trying to focus in on getting upgrades to your castle? Are you trying to focus in on getting more squires for big power later? Are you after the votes? What is it you're after? Anything can work. Any combination of things can work. Nothing is a weak choice but making sure you're keeping up with what your opponent is doing is the big deal in this game. I think it's a really good keys of victory. Thumbs up. Unique. You know, I didn't think I'd give this unique because the game is so much alike when it comes to its visual style, as far as the pieces, worker placement, your name, but the worker placement has to do with a power level of worker placement, which kind of goes to say Keyflower, I get, but it does have a nice little battle type there. You don't have to worker placement in the middle. You have your own board. You have a sideboard for battling, so it gives you options out of there. You've got voting for new rules coming into effect. You've got ways to get victory points based on up or down. You can get both of those if you have money. There's a lot of pieces that come together here. I feel like individually every one of those pieces I've seen somewhere else, but to group them the way they've been grouped, I just don't know of a game that does that together that quite like this. It is, I think, a unique experience. It's just not one that grabs me necessarily as much as it may grab one of you, but I'm going to have to give it its credit. Thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? It's a very nice game. It's not in my collection. I'm borrowing a friend's version, and I don't know that I will ever add this to my collection, but I do think it's a game that's worthwhile to try. I don't think you have to buy this. It's not a must-add. Even if you were to see it at a big price reduction, it's not one that I'd be like, jump at it, unless it's massively cheap. You know, if you find this for 20 bucks, yeah, grab it. But if you're finding it for 30 or 40, I don't think you have to jump at this game. But I do think you need to try it. Give it a try, see where it lands, and if you like it, put it in your collection. It might hit for you, it might not, but the point is to keep an open mind, especially in some of these older games that we've moved a little bit away from their mechanics and their setup these days, so you might find some gems that just haven't been replicated. And this just might be one of them for you. Well, it has been day 238, and we've been speaking about the game Lancaster. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description, or I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.